Takes a second. Welcome to the Javier Mendez podcast. After a crazy weekend of amazing fights, the standings have changed. So much to talk about. So you get to watch the fights. I was just talking to you a second ago. You finally get to watch the fights, and they didn't happen at like 4 a.m. when you're asleep in Dubai. So how was it to actually watch a good event after so many? Was it something you were missing in your life?
It was actually very nice. I really, really thoroughly enjoyed the fights, and I definitely, it all started with the first fight I really wanted to see, which was the McKenzie Dern fight. I really wanted to see that fight because, I really like her. I think she's an incredible fighter. And I think it's one of those things where she just needs to learn how to fight to her best abilities, and I think she keeps going back and forth on how she should be fighting when she's not utilizing what I call the queen, right? And her queen is her jujitsu, and it's better than anybody, but she doesn't work on as much on getting the people to where she can utilize her queen, and that's just something that I would like to see from her in the future, fights where she can fix that one little area where she can get people to the ground where she needs to, basically exercise her great skill. And man, her fight was so entertaining. Oh my God, it was entertaining. She's a warrior, man. She's a warrior, man. What a warrior! Very, very impressive.
That was a good card, top to bottom. Just jumping ahead. Volkanovski, you told me, I don't know if we said on the podcast, about whether he was in a face-off against Islam, which was left really, big, a lot of controversy after the first fight in Australia, and then Islam closed the door on that. But you were like, well, I don't know if they're ever going to have that match. At least you told me personally, because I don't know if he's going to get through Toria, and the Toria fight didn't happen first. So that fight might not have happened had this not, the way things came together. Can you see what I'm saying there?
Yeah. Now, I was thinking he needed to get by Topuria, and I didn't think it was going to be that easy because what I seen in Topuria, I was extremely impressed with him on how well he has everything, how tight his boxing is. His boxing is super tight, and he hits hard. And I figured that a lot of people are underestimating him. I thought they were underestimating how good this guy was, and I wasn't for sure that he would win. I saw it as he could have won, he could have lost, but I wasn't going to be shocked on either one. I wasn't going to be shocked if he lost, but I wouldn't be shocked if he won. And he imposed his will and he won, And there's questions on whether it was too soon for Alex, but like I mentioned in other interviews that I've done, it's like that's not for me to say. It's for his coaches to say because they know what they have. They know where he was when he was fighting Islam. Was he right? Was he wrong? I don't know. I don't know what mentality he was or how physically he was ready for the Topuria fight. I don't know because I wasn't in camp. So we can allude to the fact that, well, maybe if, he would have taken more time, he would have been better. I don't know, maybe, but we were not in camp. So we don't know what we don't know. So his corner knows. They know how good he was going into the fight. And Alex himself, no, he doesn't. He won't know as well as his corner. His corner know because they know how good he is and how isn't, how prepared he is, how prepared he's not. They know what they have, And if they don't know, then they should know because they're the ones running him.
He's, Alex, hats off to him. He did an amazing job. It looked like he'd be able to handle it, but I still had a feeling when I saw some of that power laid on him in the first round. I'm like, okay, Topuria's going to get in there now. Topuria's going to take some licks, but he's going to get in there and he's going to lay down that, iron fist, man. It was going to happen.
Yeah, he came out in the second round with more determination and more pressure, and he came out guns a-blazing, and you saw what he did. I mean, he was a beautiful overhand right, throwing with the good combinations that he did, going to the body, then go up on top. I mean, this guy's he's well polished in every area, kicking, punching, strategy, ground wrestling, you name it. Topuria has it. He's got the whole bit of what MMA is all about, and let's see how far he can go. This is his first championship that he's won. Let's see how long he can stay. Who knows? And let's see if the UFC gives him a rematch with Alex if Alex wants a rematch. I don't know. I don't know what they will do. I don't. I'm not saying that Alex can't beat him on the rematch, because he definitely can. But I'm just saying, the guy is legit, and he proved my point that he was a better boxer. And I said that. I said in our podcast, I go, what do I think? I think he's a better boxer. Of course, some people thought I was smoking crack, but where's my crack now?
Well, they're not going to give you any because you're right, but that's the good part. I think that he definitely was dominant. I want to go watch him in Spain. I want to go to that UFC in Spain because you know me, I love Spain. I vacation there as much as I can. I think it'd be amazing in one of those big arenas. Maybe a bullfighting arena. That would be amazing. But
Yeah, he's a great fighter, and and then I was watching it at a bar in Las Vegas, and one of the things that one of the people I was with said, he goes, well, you know how it is with undefeated guys. I go, yeah, they're harder to beat than you think, because they don't want to lose. They've never lost, so it's harder to take that zero away from them. They don't go easy, man. And when a champion, especially 14 fights, he's not going to go easy. He's not going to go easy. They're not easy to beat. And he went out there with that attitude. I'm the champ. He went out there that I already won. He went in with that I already conquered you type of attitude, and he not only went in with that attitude, he showed it with his actions.
and way to represent. He's representing two countries. Originally a Georgian from Georgia, but he's also looks like a Spaniard as much as he's Georgian by birth, I believe. But he grew up in Spain, and Spain seems to have done some great training with him. I could see those people are into fitness over there. It's a wonderful place.
Yeah.
He called out Alex like, yeah, I'm ready for the rematch. Hey, company guy, like he when a champion wins with no questions asked, do you think it makes harder to get the rematch, even though the guy's been the champ for so long, or because a mix of that? Do you think there's some doubt on that? I know they're going to look at numbers. Of course, he's probably the best choice to have the fight with in Spain, to be honest, my opinion, for numbers and traction for Topuria to make the most dough. I mean, I think it would be the most interesting rematch. But
Um,
I don't know that division kind of. I don't know who to put in front of him. What do you think?
I- you know, uh, if Alex wants that rematch, I don't see the UFC not giving it to him, because he's the greatest featherweight of all time, and he's still in his prime. He's still not washed up. He got caught. He got caught with a good shot, and who's to say he won't catch Topuria on the rematch, if they have a rematch? Who's to say? Obviously, based on what happened, based on what we saw, if they have a rematch, I think the favor is going to be Topuria. They're gonna put him as the favorite, but doesn't mean he'll win, because he's not going to be an overwhelming favorite. I don't think. I think it's just going to be one of those things, because it was very competitive. If you have to judge the first round, you might have gave that first round to Alex.
Yeah, it looked like it was leaning that way. It looked like Alex was winning the first round, but Topuria was looking to find the way to finish
Yeah,
him. He was looking for that gate.
yeah, he was gaining steam. So you knew Topuria was coming, and he did. He did. So it was impressive. It was impressive. That whole card was impressive. It was impressive from the first pay-per-view card one on up to it was impressive, man. I liked the card.
It's funny. I don't know if you knew about this. Maybe you're aware of it now because you see your Instagram. But were you aware about the Islam story with Volkanovski's little kids?
Yeah, yeah. Someone sent it to me, and at first I didn't pay attention to it. Then I listened to it. I go, "Oh, that's funny." He's talking about his daughter said, well, what if it's Islam Makhachev who's the intruder?
That was so cute. I guess Islam sent them some dolls, sent them some toys. He's like, "Don't worry, I'm not coming to your house."
Yeah. Also sent him Alex words of encouragement. Hey, keep going, champ. And it just shows what kind of human being Islam is. What kind of heart he has, and he knows. He knows what it's like to be in the end result, because Islam's been there one time too. So it's not an easy road. So for Alex to have two devastating losses like that back to back with KOs, I mean, there's going to be questions that he has to ask himself. Does he want to continue to do this? Is it a financial situation? I think, honestly speaking, I think he's probably set for life. I don't think financial is going to be an issue for him. I think his family's set. I think he's set. And now it's just a matter of whether he wants to come back and whether the UFC will think it's a good idea for him to come back and get an immediate title shot again. It's possible. I mean, we don't know, right? We'll look at the numbers. I mean, not we, the UFC, look at the numbers. I say, yeah, okay, this fight makes sense. We're going to do it here. We'll do it in Spain. It'll be packed house, and it will be. It will be a packed house.
Spain would be amazing. That'd be fun to go to that one. If you're there, that'll be cool too. I'll definitely. I'm gonna make if I'm gonna go anywhere in the world to go see a fight more than Vegas, Spain. It's just a unique experience. Geoff Neal, Ian Garry, Jeff Neal. We were talking about that in the car. So, what's your takeaways from that one?
My takeaways is that Ian Garry needs to still climb the ladder and get better before he can actually really go for the elite guys. But he's on the right path, and maybe one or two more fights, and he'll probably get a title shot if he continues to win. That was an impressive win for him. Jeff Neal is no joke. He's good, man. He's good. He just didn't do enough, in my opinion. And the third round, he gave that third round away. Whether he was tired, whether he thought he was winning the fight, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what was going through his mind, but he didn't put enough output. When he had him, he didn't throw. Ian kept throwing and throwing. And when I heard the decision 30-27, I see there's no way that Ian lost that fight because that third round was a hands down Ian Garry round. The other two, questionable. You can tell me Ian, you can tell me, Jeff. Yeah, 100%. But that third round, no way. No way was that third round Jeff Neal round. That third round was Ian Garry round. So to me, I gave 1 and 3 to Ian. 2 could have been Jeff's round. But definitely the third round was the only round that is definitive for me. Definitive. That was a definite, Ian Garry round. Because it
Well,
didn't do enough.
now he's calling out Colby Covington. That's a whole different bag of wax there. That's the guy that'll grab those long, skinny legs.
That's the guy that doesn't quite seem to pull the trigger. That's the guy that doesn't quite seem to come up on top when he should. So that's the perfect match. That's the perfect match. That's if I'm managing him, that's the guy I would ask for because Colby knows how to talk, and he's going to give you a great fight, and it'll be entertaining as hell. And I think it's a great matchup. Now it depends on whether the UFC thinks it's a great matchup and whether Colby thinks it's a great matchup. But it's a fight I'd like to see, and let's see if it comes through. But I like that fight.
Now Merab, he looked pretty darn dominant. He was having fun, just waving at, Mr. Facebook over there, the Facebook guy. He's over sitting there in the corner, Mark Zuckerberg. And he's like, picking up, Cejudo and throwing him in front of him like he just caught a fish, pulling it out of a big old tuna fish, just throwing it out of the boat onto the dock. I mean, that was crazy, man. But
He was impressive. He was very impressive, and the impressive part is how he not ragdolled him, but how he did things to Segura that no one's ever done to him, and it was very impressive. And I just don't know. From my point of view, from what I was viewing, I don't know if that was the right game plan. I don't know. I just know that Henry couldn't execute as well as he'd like to have executed. But hey, he's one of the greatest combat sports athletes of all time. So, he'll go off riding in the sunset, knowing that he's one of the greats. But he just couldn't get it done with this kid, and this kid's the new hot thing. And I'm looking forward to one day him and Umar fighting. I'd like to see that because to be the best, you have to beat the best. And Merab, in my opinion, appears to be, even though he's not the champ, he appears to be about the best challenge for Umar. So I like that. I like that challenge. But I know we're going to have to wait, until Merab gets to fight for the title. And he'll probably be favored, in my opinion, to win the title. But doesn't mean he will. Just means he's favored. So I'd like to see that, whether it be Cheeto or whether it's going to be, O'Malley. I don't know. I'm thinking O'Malley's the favorite. But let's see what happens. Last time he was the favorite, and like that calf kick destroyed his leg, and so Cheeto deservedly won that fight because it was no fluke. He intentionally kicked him in the calf, and that calf gave way. So it's like saying, "Hey, I kicked you, but my leg went because of that kick. So you didn't really win." Well, yes, I did win because I intended to hurt you with that kick, and it did hurt you. So you know what I'm saying. So that's where I view that.
yeah, there was a think it was a heavyweight fight earlier on the card where the guy just took him out with the leg kick. Like,
Yeah, he must. Yeah. He took him out with the leg kick. Yeah, hey, those leg kicks. That's why everybody does them. They all go and calf kick because they're so freaking dangerous. You know, they're so dangerous. You know, and they work. You know, you saw Alex was getting a little disturbed by Topuria kick going for his low kick, so Alex went back and notice Alex changed stance. Stance a few times during the fight, but he went back because he's not comfortable southpaw.
that's the smart move.
Yeah. So Toria didn't change stance. He stayed because he's not comfortable going southpaw, and his legs weren't as damaged. I think Alex's leg was getting hurt a little bit. That's why he changed the stance.
There was somebody else fighting earlier. I don't remember which fight, but they're like, he needs to change the stance. He needs to change the stance. He can't fight this way. It was undercard, I think. Like he needs to switch around. It's like, oh, he can't punch from that side or something. Like
I
it's
didn't see the undercard. All I saw was the McKenzie Dern fight. That's the first one I saw, and that was so entertaining. That McKenzie Dern, man, she's the both of them, the both of them, but the McKenzie Dern especially. You know, it's like, yeah, she's a warrior, man.
it's interesting your take on Merab. I was thinking about Umar too. I mean, I've been close in behind you where you almost ran me over with the camera. That's my old funny video. But I was in the ring filming you guys. I see how Umar moves and I see how Merab moves, and I see a way. I see a way. I know that that's just way out there. Hasn't happened. Hasn't been scheduled. You know.
First of all, we got to get by our guy March 2nd, and then second of all, we're going to have to fight one more fight, and maybe they'll make us fight another fight before he gets a title shot. But we're definitely not going to get a title shot after this next one unless something goofy happens, like Merab gets injured or the next title challenger gets injured, then we get asked to come step in. That would be about the only way we'll get a title shot. That's about the only way we should get a title shot. Because, beating an unknown guy, although he's 17-1, doesn't justify us getting a title fight. No, I think the eyeballs to the screen are going to say, no, we won't watch that yet.
That's the key in fighting. It's your social media equity in the algorithm of the UFC machine. Where are you in views? How many views are you getting? How many likes? How many wants? How many times is your name repeated by the name machine? That equals how valuable you are to a card. I think like a calculator.
Yeah, basically what sells, what's going to make the most money for the machine, and it's entertainment, fighting sport. It's not fighting sport first. It's entertainment first. So whatever entertainment they're going to put on, it's not a true sport. I said it many a times. It's entertainment, first. So what's entertaining? What's going to cost this? Otherwise, if it's a true sport, then you wouldn't have the matchups you have because these people don't qualify. They don't qualify to fight for a title. They won't let them fight. But
Yeah.
it's about who's going to sell. Like why does someone like the super famous can come in and fight a super high guy and he hasn't fought in a while? Why can he fight for a title? Because of entertainment. Like Chael Sonnen, how come he fought for title after title without having a winning record going into it before he gets another title fight? Because he was entertaining. He was entertaining, and they love watching him fight. But he lost. But still, they'll get another title shot. How many title shots did Chael Sonnen get?
No, I think quite a few. I think if I remember exactly, but yeah.
But why did he keep getting them? Because he's entertaining.
Yeah.
See him fight. I wanted to see him fight. He knew how to entertain.
Yeah. He's the godfather of of basically Connor and Colby and guys that use that shtick.
Yeah. He is 100%. 100%.
Right?
I mean, him and Vanderlei Silva, the wars they had, and I mean, you can't tell me Vanderlei doesn't take offense to this guy. You know he does. Now, Vanderlei ain't gonna invite him to his house anytime soon. I mean, they made a name for themselves and their little niche. And Chael did it, and I mean, there's some bad things Chael said. That I'm sure that Vanderlei will never forgive. Or maybe he will. I don't know. But he said some bad things about Brazil, and it didn't go well with Vanderlei and the people from Brazil, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. You can't be attacking countries and thinking that you got people that are patriotic that are going to just take it and just go, oh, it's okay, he's only playing. No, dude, just shut up. Don't talk about my country. If you don't want me to say something about you or come after you, just be quiet. So, do that, you reap the wrath of the people that you offend.
It's so true. Anthony Hernandez versus Kopolov. Anthony Hernandez. Who's this guy? Out of nowhere, Superman. Badass. That guy
Fluffy,
was great. Huh?
fluffy Superman.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he came out. Yeah, fluffy Superman.
He fought a badass dude, man. That guy can put the leather down, and he just weathered the storm, went right through him, just tenacious. And I mean, he knew he had that choke, and he was like laughing at the end when he had it. He's like, "Ha ha ha! You ain't getting away this time." I mean, he's very entertaining, and boy, I picked the other guy to win. And boy, was I wrong. Fluffy is somebody to be reckoned with. And you should have known that from Rodolfo Vieira, right? Because here you tap out one of the legend jiu-jitsu guys, so obviously, that was a while back that he got Rodolfo, a while back, so this guy's no joke, and yeah, he could take a good punch. His stand-up isn't so great, but it's improving, so I wouldn't be shocked to see him fight for a title, within 2 or 3 fights.
I was impressed. I'm like, what? Because I was getting so impressed with Kopylov until this fight,
Yeah,
and I was like,
extremely impressive, and I thought he would win because I thought, okay, Anthony Hernandez has, he has to take him down, and he's going to have a rough time with that, and yeah, but when he took him down, oh boy, that was very impressive, very very impressive.
and for the big one, people have been social media has been making a story out of a story out of a story on the UFC 300 card. Like it's got to be this. I mean, maybe because the movie 300 with the Spartans. I don't know. Every 100th UFC is a pinnacle. It's a landmark for the company. And that they announced who's going to be the headline for that.
Yeah. Alex Pereira versus the ex-champ
Yeah, Jamal Hill. Yeah.
Hill. That's gonna be a good fight. Very good fight. I think that they probably had other choices they would rather have. I heard Leon Edwards was offered 3 fights, and he accepted all three, but for whatever reason, they didn't materialize. So who they were, I don't know. But no one said who the 3 people that were offered to Leon. But Dana was talking very strong about Leon, about being a trooper and a company man. And I mean, but hey, that's what a promotion needs. They need a fighter that will fight anybody, anytime, and is ready to go. So circumstances are different. I know Hamzat Shemaya, wasn't ready because of Ramadan. So I would imagine if Islam was offered, it's the same with him. Have time, to prepare for a training camp where 300 was. So I would imagine those two guys were out of the equation based on the timeline, than when the fights were. And you can't blame them because they want to feel like they need to be ready. And then John Jones was another one that was being offered. But from what I'm told from people, the John Jones injury was going to take more time, and he would be ready in June sometime, was what I was told. So that fight would have been scratched out from 300. But you would think that they probably went with those. And what about Connor and whoever, right? Michael Chandler, maybe that was in the works, and that one didn't materialize because the biggest pay-per-view of all time, the 5 biggest pay-per-views of all time, UFC, are all Connor's, all
Yeah.
of them, all his. So obviously, if he was ready to go, he'd be the front runner, hands down the front runner, hands down.
And Topuria called him out. Of course, everybody that gets this, they call him out like, "Hey, that's like the 401k plan. Give me Connor."
Of course, of course, who wouldn't want to fight for the biggest amount of money and get the most attention? That's what we're all there for, right? So yeah, of course, he's the logical choice for anybody that's within that weight to fight. Of course, they're stupid not to call him out.
Yeah, it's just the way it is. So I mean, that's what's going on with that. How is Umar looking? How's your training going? That's all. Wrap our thing up like.
He's looking fantastic. We're ready for a super tough fight, and we're ready to go. One more hard week of training, and but he's ready. He's ready to go. He's healthy. His spirits are good. We're not with the team AKA or Team Habib. We're by ourselves here in Vegas, but it's okay. It's okay. When you're a fighter, you have to travel. You have to do what you have to do, and the UFC PI is perfect for him because he needs rehab still to make his shoulders stronger, and he keeps, he's been taken care of really well here. So it works out fantastic, And one of the things we didn't talk about is, the Robert Whittaker fight, and that was
Yeah.
a fight. That was a hell of a fight. And remember, I said that I gave the edge to Robert Whittaker because on speed, I said he's faster, and precision. And then why? How did he win? Exactly what I told you: precision. He was faster. He was faster to the draw. Paula, man, he's badass. He's good everywhere. That spinning wheel kick almost took him out, man. That was a beautiful spinning wheel kick. I mean, if that had landed just a little bit more flush, it'd have been a straight KO. I mean, but Paulo Costa is good everywhere. He's good everywhere. But it's just I felt that Robert was just a little faster, and I thought the speed factor would be an issue. And both of them aren't known for being on the ground. Both of them are not known for that. They're known for more striking than anything, and they showed that. And they're both warriors, and Paulo just has to get back on. I'm sure one more fight or two before he gets back on the winning track and into a title contention again, because he's still top tier guy. I mean, he felt he won the fight, and arguably so. Some people may have thought he won. I thought he lost, but it was so close that I could see it going both ways. But I thought Robert won.
It's interesting fight. I mean, I thought that Costa looked great. And I thought that, maybe if you're looking at it, my head's replaying some of it as you talk about it. I think that Costa needed more work on his combos, getting more punches and bunches, because I think that's where, on the numbers, if the judges were looking at that, he probably outpointed him by getting more licks in, even though the more damaging shots were probably by Costa.
Yeah, but Robert's shots weren't exactly powder puffing either. He was hitting some good shots. So yeah,
True.
that's why I think it went his way. Not that Paulo didn't hit hard. He did. He's really hard, and
Yeah.
he's super good. But I just thought that Robert just was a little bit more active. It's the same as Ian Garry, the same thing. And one guy was more active than the other. And Jeff Neal probably thought he won too, if I'm not mistaken. He thought he won, but I didn't think he won. I did not think he won. I thought Ian Garry won. And the same thing with this one. Paula thought he won. I didn't think he won. I thought Robert won. I'm not questioning whether if the judges went with Paulo or if they went with Jeff Neal. I'm not going to question it, but I'm just telling you who I thought won. I thought the people that won are the ones I thought won.
Now you got you get a good one coming up. The next one coming up, Mexico City, Moreno versus Royval. I think you're going to love tuning in for that one, aren't you?
No,
No,
no, no, no.
You're Rodriguez and Brian Ortega.
I think that would be more interesting. Or I like Ortega and then Rodriguez. Yair. I think that's going to be the more entertaining fight. And I could be wrong. But I'm not super excited about those fights, to be honest with you. I like the championship quality caliber fights, and there's no championship there. These are just
Fight nights are not the same to you. They're just like
top
a
tier.
Demonstration, a circus,
Yeah.
a tent show. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a championship fight. I like championship fights, so
I get it.
So they're good fights. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not necessarily gonna make time to go watch it. If I happen to watch it, I happen to watch it, but I'm not gonna go out of my way to go watch it.
I get it. I mean, some UFC fights are like, oh, that's watered down, or it's two guys out of 20. I'm not going to watch the first 18 to see the next two or whatever, right?
Yeah.
The pay-per-view events definitely have more people packed in them, but the
Well,
cards have been winding up. Go ahead.
UFC 300, I'm really looking forward to watching. I think that's going to be a barn burner.
Well, Gaethje versus Max.
Yeah, that's a barn burner, man. There's some great fights.
Yeah. So, what do you think? What do you think? Max is going to learn to stay away from leg kicks or something?
I don't think Max is going to avoid any leg kicks. I think Max coming right for him.
That's going to be an entertaining fight.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know what that does to the picture with Islam. That's still up in the air with a bunch of that division is sorting itself out.
Who knows who they're going to give Islam? Who knows? It could be. It could be Oliveira if he wins. It could be Sarukian if he wins. It could be Justin Gaethje. I don't think it'll be Holloway. But you never know. If Holloway destroys Gaethje, it could be him. Never know. I guess you can't count Max out. Remember, Max at one time was the greatest featherweight till Alex came in and started doing his wrecking ball crew on everybody. Before it was Alex, rightfully so, was the greatest featherweight. He arguably is the second greatest heavyweight of all time.
To be honest with you, I think Toria could do pretty good at weight class up.
Yeah, he's just one fight in. I mean, I remember Holloway was destroying everybody. He was doing what Alex was doing.
Yeah.
Toria potential to wreck everybody. Yes, 100%. Yes. but he hasn't done it yet. We got to see. We got to see at least 2 or 3 more fights of him to go. Okay, there we go. But it looks like he will do exactly what you're saying, though.
That's why it's fun to do the podcast with you. You've like had guys, hundreds of different guys you work with, and you start seeing a pattern after one. Not needs a few more before we, you start seeing that. You're right. It makes sense what you're saying, 100%. You've had a guy that's developing. You're like, and I can go, he's already ready. And you're like, no, not ready, Len. I think that's how it is. So
Well,
anything,
it's been there, done that.
well, thanks for a great podcast, Hav. I think we covered that one top to bottom. That we're only going to go 15 minutes. We hit 30 minutes here. Be sure to like and subscribe, guys, and tune in for our next one.